Hey friends, so today we are going to be making up some lemon things. So we're going to do a lemon dessert and a lemon dinner. We're starting with the dessert. We're making a lemon meringue pie. I have some butter here melting, which that can actually... Let me put these lemons down. I can turn off the heat now and we can let that sit there because we wanted some melted butter for our base. And these lemons are beautiful, big lemons I got from my grandparents' tree. They gifted them. My Uma and Upa's garden on that tree. So we're making some lemon things. Lemon meringue pie. This is one of you guys have sent me an email with your recipe after watching my video of my lemon meringue pie. I was struggling. If you saw that, it was delicious, but it was complicated. It wasn't complicated, but it was complicated. I don't know. It was fun to do, but it was also one of those things. It's like, I'm glad I done it. Didn't want to do it again. So one of you guys reached out to me through email and I asked her permission if it's okay for me to share or if she wanted me to share. And she said, I'm more than welcome to share. So here we are. We're going to try this lemon meringue pie. I haven't made it yet. This will be my first time making her pie. And it seems so simple and easy to do. So I'm really excited to do this version of a lemon meringue pie. And then for dinner we're going to do a Chinese lemon chicken, and then I'll just do a fried rice, just a basic like egg and pea fried rice for a side for some crispy Chinese lemon chicken. I also do want to quickly mention that I do have builders working on the house today, so if I'm in and out of voiceover and you can hear the background sound of like power tools and banging and things, I do apologize for that, but there's not much I can do about it, so I am sorry. But yeah, otherwise if it's too much in the background, then we'll just switch to a voiceover. Alrighty, so for the pie I got these Scotch finger biscuits. I required 11 fingers, or 11 biscuits, sorry, which look like this. And it only required 11, which was about 3/4 of a pack. So I did have 3 biscuits left over with my morning coffee this morning. So it was quite nice having a recipe that didn't require a whole packet, because then I got a little treat this morning. So these are the ones I use, and I'll chuck this in the bin now. But what we want to do is crush this up. I also got my eggs out. Eggs are meant to be room temperature, but it is freezing today, so I don't see them coming down to room temperature. I should have taken them out last night maybe. But what we're going to do with these biscuits is break them up and pop them in my food processor and get them nice and fine. You don't need to do this. You can just whack it with a rolling pin or a meat mallet in a Ziploc bag or something. But I got this little tool and it gets it super fine, which I do like that texture of. So I'm going to do it this way. Alrighty, so with our biscuits, we're adding 90 grams of melted butter to our base, and we'll give it a mix around and pop it into a glass pie dish. So her recipe stated for a 23 centimeter pie plate or a pie dish. This one is the only one I have, and it's a 24 centimeter, but I don't think 1 centimeter will make much of a difference. So I think we're safe with that. And we want to do it at the base and up the sides. She said to grease it really well. I don't know, should I grease it with butter or do parchment? I'm going to try butter. I don't normally grease with butter. I always go to parchment. But I don't know, we'll try greasing with some butter. Got some paper towel here, and we'll smear that around. Because this is also a pie that you'll serve in the plate. You don't need to take it out and serve it on a like a cake stand or anything. You'll serve it directly in the same plate you make it in. So I think this will be good.
So we're just putting the biscuit crumbs in and smoothing it out, pressing it down kind of firmly, not too aggressively firmly, it's okay. You just want it nice and smooth and even is the main thing. So I found it was easier to switching with a metal tablespoon to get it around in the like the corner and up the sides and things like that. So that's now chilling in the fridge while we get everything else ready and prepared. We don't need the pie base until we pour the filling on it, so it can sit in the fridge in the meantime. Now here I'm dividing 3 eggs, separating 3 eggs, so we want the yolks and the whites separate. And one thing I love about this recipe compared to my other recipe that I made is it uses 3 eggs and it's the whole egg. So we're using 3 egg yolks for the filling and 3 egg whites for the meringue. We're also zesting up some lemon. I believe I just zested 1 lemon. I'll have the recipe in the description box written up for you. And it smells so good. I just remember, this is just giving me back the scent.
Alright, so we got our lemon zest in here. We want to also combine in a full can of sweetened condensed milk. Any recipe that requires condensed milk makes me happy because condensed milk is just delicious. I honestly have not baked with condensed milk in such a long time. So, I don't know, as soon as I read her recipe, I was like, oh, I just know this is going to be so much nicer than the first pie I attempted. So, she also emailed me this a couple of months ago, and when I read it, I'm like, I'm doing that tomorrow, but it just didn't happen that way. So, a couple of months later than I would have liked, but I definitely had not forgotten. I've been looking forward to this moment for so long. And now this is where I'm like, it'll be easier just to cut lemons and squeeze them to juice them. Especially these are definitely soft, they're juicy. But I got sensitive hands, do I do the juicer, then I have to clean the juicer. I need to invest in the squeezer, like the handheld juicer. That's what I need. I'm actually gonna put that on my shopping list because that will be handy. But what I'm going to do is the first one, because we only want half a cup of juice, the first lemon I'm going to juice is the one we've just taken the zest off of. And you definitely want to do, if you do have a recipe, whether it's this or any recipe that requires lemon zest and lemon juice, definitely zest first. Even if you require to use the juice first in a recipe, just get your 2 components ready because it is so much easier to zest a full fruit rather than once it's already cut, and especially squeeze with juice. I've made that mistake many times. I can't even find the juicer component of the lemon juicer, of the juicer. So we're doing it by hand. I got gloves because again, I got sensitive hands, which is so annoying. When I was younger, my hands have always been sensitive, but I just used to not let it bother me. The older I get, the more it bothers me. So yeah. Oh, I love cutting into fresh home produce, like homegrown produce. So yummy. Although this is obviously not from my home, it still gets me just as excited. I just love it. So I'm going to try and get it all in this measure cup. So with these lemons, it took, I could still squeeze this hard, but I used almost 2 lemons, and I do have some seeds in, so I'll strain it over. Oh gosh. And when I got these gloves on, I want to clean up all this lemon juice mess because it will burn my hands otherwise. And I believe that's all the lemon stuff that we'll need for this recipe. So I won't throw this away. Like I said, we'll be making a lemon dinner. So when that requires juice, we'll squeeze from that lemon first. So now in this bowl we have our lemon juice, lemon rind condensed milk, and we'll add in this yolk. And I'm just going to give this a nice mix to get it all nice and combined. And then this is our filling done. Don't need to temper eggs or anything. So I'm bringing back our base. And we'll pour in our filling mixture on top. Gently smooth it out. It pretty much laid pretty smooth anyway. Yum. And you can just see like the speckles of the lemon zest. I'm so excited. All right, so now this is going to go back into the fridge to set, and we'll start the meringue. Now, when I made my first lemon meringue pie, if you want to see that as well, if you haven't seen that, I'll leave that video down below. We made a bunch of different desserts. We made some Italian like puddings. Oh my goodness, that was so good. But the lemon meringue pie I made, it was nice, but I wouldn't have made it again, I don't think. But the part I was most nervous about, and I've been wanting to make a meringue pie for years, and the part that what stopped me from making it or attempting it was the meringue part. I'm getting that feeling again. I'm a little bit nervous for this meringue. It ended up being the easiest step for the last pie, but this has been so easy, so now I'm extra nervous for the meringue, but hopefully it remains nice and easy and simple. But we'll just do it, we'll just get it done. So this is going to go in the fridge. We'll do our meringue, and I think I will preheat our oven at 190 degrees, because once our meringue's done, we'll top it up and then we'll pop it in the oven. So this will go in the fridge, we'll turn the oven on to 190 degrees, and then we'll start the meringue. Hopefully we can do it. I don't have caster sugar. It states caster sugar, I only got regular white sugar. So hopefully this works. Otherwise I got icing sugar if this will be too chunky, but then I feel like that's way too fine. So this is for the meringue. And I mean, I'm half dressed. I've dressed myself up here. I'm still in my pajamas at the bottom. I can get dressed and go out, but because we got workers and they're in the driveway, and I've pestered them on other days, and I don't really feel like pestering them again today, just for sugar. So we're going to try this. Hopefully it works out. Yes. Also, I don't have a stand mixer. I use hand beaters. That's what I prefer. That's what I'll be using, and I'm sure that part will be fine. But if you're making this, you can use stand mixer, electric beaters. I just wouldn't beat it by hand by whisk, because that's way too much of an arm workout. Alrighty, so 3 egg whites in the bowl. Good, so there's no yolks in here. I did have that one piece I saw, but I took it out. But because this bowl was back, it was kind of hard to tell. So that should be all good. And half a cup of sugar slowly added. I only got a 1/4 cup measure. I've just used my half a cup, and to save me washing drying it, I'm just going to use a 1/4 cup and do it twice. I was going to, because you want to gradually add in the sugar, I was just going to use this twice. But knowing me, I would get almost finished the first one and I wouldn't even know if that's 1 or 2. So we're going to start beating these up. It may take a while, and we want to get it nice and foamy first, and then we'll start adding the sugar, I think. I hope.
So you can see it's getting nice and airy now. So at this point, this is where I'm starting to add in the sugar. I'm adding the sugar in probably a tablespoon at a time for the first couple of additions, and then after a little while, I'll add in about 2 tablespoons, 2 to 3 tablespoons at max. You just want to add it in gradually. You don't want it to hit too much sugar at once, otherwise you kind of pushing out and deflating the air that you are currently incorporating. Also, having it all in that bowl, because I had that 1/4 cup measure, not a half cup measure, is so much more easier, because you want that beaters on consistently from start to finish. So that's just saved me messing around with scooping out some more sugar. And as you can see, we're just going around and round and round till it's done. And the thing to look out for when your meringue is done is the shininess, the glossiness, the silkiness, and stiff peaks. Super shiny, so good.
Okay, as you can see, nice and stiff. Once I finish doing all of the sugar, so this is our bowl, and with meringue, you can tip it upside. It shouldn't want to move or fall out. So after I combined all the sugar, I upped the speed, and then you could see the ribbons like so much more better. So that took in total 8 minutes, 7, 8 minutes. And I think we're good. It's super glossy. I love the look of it. And I think we're done our meringue. Our oven's not quite preheated yet, so I'm just gonna leave everything as is leave the pie pan in the fridge, that there. I might unload and get my dishwasher loaded up while we wait for the oven to be completely preheated before we top it and bake it.
So now topping the meringue on top of our pie. The bottom is nice and set to touch, so it's not lifting around or the meringue's not soaking in, which is great. That's why you make sure that in between adding the base and the filling to now it goes into the refrigerator to help with that. And what I'm doing here is just spiking up the meringue because I want that traditional kind of meringue style or look to it once it's baked.
Alright, I think that's good. I try to do it so the peaks are facing different directions. I'm happy with that. So now this is going to go into the oven preheated 190 degrees for 15 minutes. Alright, so I was in for the full time 15 minutes. It smells so good. Hopefully that's not too dark right here. It kind of smells like it's about to burn. Or it has that burny smell, but that should be fine. Like there's no black or anything on it. And yeah, the base looks nice and golden too. So excited. So I'm gonna let this cool probably an hour just out here, and then we'll pop it in the fridge for 6 hours to completely cool and set before we can slice into it. Alrighty, so we got things cleaned up, put away. I've washed some dishes, dishwasher's on. Nick's came make some food. I've made myself another coffee. We have rice cooking for our fried rice. So we're getting that going now. And then back over this side, I wanted to get the vegetable prep before I do the chicken prep. So the veggies for the fried rice is onion, capsicum, peas, and garlic. I generally don't add capsicum, but we have our own homegrown capsicums in the fridge that had to be used. I had like 4, just small ones, teeny tiny, but it's still fresh produce, and that came from my garden, so I definitely don't want things to go to waste. So I chopped them up, and I got a little bit here. But then I thought tomorrow's dinner is going to be steak, and I do like a veggie side with my steak and haven't got one yet. I was just going to do peas if I couldn't think of something, because we are running low on fresh produce. And then I thought, you know what about like a fajita fried veggies as a side? So the rest of the capsicums I just chopped them all up, and I got in here, and then I chopped up the smallest onion in here. That's a whole onion there as well. Done it in strips. This is going to go into the fridge. So now my veggie is prepped for tomorrow, and I will season that like with cumin, paprika, some chili, black pepper, white pepper, salt, garlic. It'll be delicious. But that's done for tomorrow. This is ready for us to go now, which I do like when I make fried rice to have things all on this side. And I do love my fried rice eggy. So we got 6 eggs left in here. I reckon I would use all of the 6 eggs. I've just now pulled what the other ingredients I'll be using for the fried rice. So I'll add about a tablespoon of soy sauce, teaspoon of ginger, dash of pepper, dash of paprika, and a dash of turmeric. I would generally like ground coriander, but we don't have any. And then I'll use regular salt and pepper as well, like black pepper I should say. So now fried rice is all ready as soon as my rice is cooked, and we'll just whip that. Oh no, actually I did take out some bacon. I might need to put that underneath the water because I wouldn't mind bacon with it as well. Also, the pie is now in the fridge. Sorry if you hear my dishwasher in the background because that is on, like I mentioned. What I'm going to do now is get the chicken prepared, and we'll see how much we can prepare. But I need to still even find an actual recipe. I did find a couple of recipes, but I didn't find like the recipe I'm going to be doing because I'm not exactly sure how to do it. I'm assuming it's a battered chicken deep fried, which I'm nervous because if you don't know, I did burn my hand pretty badly when we went out camping. I was shallow frying squid and squid tentacles using a tent bag because we didn't have a utensil, and it just kind of exploded. So I mean, you kind of go, well, this looks bad, that's just my skin. And actually that's not that bad, it just looks a lot worse on camera. But where I burnt myself was in my thumb all the way down here. I still hate touching this part. This part down here is the worst, but it's healing very, very well. And it's just, I just don't like to touch it still. And then it also came across on the top here up my thumb, but just moving my thumb as well, like it's been so painful. But it's been pretty much 2 weeks now, still a bit sore, and like I said, my skin is very sensitive there. But anyway, that's like off topic, but I am going to be shadow frying, and I do get scared, I do get nervous, I'm not going to lie. So we'll see how we go, but we'll prep the chicken, kind of like butterflying the chicken at least and getting that trimmed up, because I do want to fry it as a fillet. And then once it's done, we can cut it up and put the sauce, the lemon sauce. Oh, that's one thing we can make, is a lemon sauce. So yeah, we'll get the chicken chopped, we'll get the lemon sauce done, and then I think I'll make the fried rice before we fry the chicken. And then that way we can just assemble once the chicken's done. That makes sense. We'll do it that way. All right, before we get into the chicken, we will use the lemon. That's the last fresh produce we have to do. And we want half a cup of lemon juice for the sauce, the lemon sauce. And this is what I did do with the meringue as well. Not the first lemon I cut into, because that was the softest and squishiest. But the second, well, the rest of these are they're soft, but they're a bit firm still. So I did roll them and get them nice and loosened up, and that's going to help with us juicing. So we want half a cup, but that measure is now in the dishwasher. So I've got a full cup here. Ooh, gloves actually. All right, so I've got my 1 cup measure here, and I'm just going to squeeze the juice until it's about half full.
So in my saucepan, I'm just trying to strain off the seeds from the lemon juice. I used a fork. It didn't really work too well, but it's fine. We fished them all out and everything is all okay. We've added in, I think it was about a quarter of a cup of water, and about a quarter of a cup to 1/3 of a cup of sugar. Now you will see, and 2 tablespoons of corn flour. I will talk about the corn flour in a little bit, and you will see how this lemon sauce came out, but this is what the recipe said. I only looked at one recipe, the first recipe I found, that's what I decided to do. Normally I like to research recipes and do a few different recipes, but I didn't in this case, and I kind of regretted that, but we'll talk about that later. Now we are going to do the breading for the chicken. Again, I just done what the recipe said. I was assuming to do a batter, but this one's not a batter. And so the flour mixture was half and half white flour, like your white plain flour, and corn flour. I think I done about half a cup of both, and mix that in with some salt and pepper. I set that to the side. I beat up 1 egg, set that to the side, so that's all ready for the chicken. But before I start with the chicken, I wanted to get this bacon on and frying. So the bacon is going to be for the fried rice. We got our lemon sauce on at a low heat just to start getting some warmth to it. And while that is happening, I am butterflying the chicken breast. So butterflying, I always like to start with the thicker part of the chicken and work my way down, doing it nice and slow because it can be dangerous. If you do it too fast, you can slip very easily. And then with the chicken, I'm just seasoning it with a little bit of salt, pepper, and garlic powder on both sides, which is very good in my opinion. You want the chicken like you want it seasoned, but you don't want too many flavors to complicate the sauce that you're then going to put on top, because it's going to be a crispy lemon chicken sauce. You want it to taste like lemon chicken. So I thought it was really good on very little seasoning for that chicken. And now here we are making up the fried rice and whisking the lemon sauce in the saucepan. In the green saucepan, that was the rice that's all cooked, that's been off to the side for a while now. So with the bacon, I added in the onion. I've pushed that up away, and I will crack in the 6 eggs, a little bit more oil. I constantly add oil while making fried rice. I feel like some ingredients like the eggs and the onions absorb a lot of oil, so just keeping everything close on hand, because when I do my fried rice, like now that I'm physically working with it, I do like to cook on that with a high heat. That's just a personal preference. That's just what I like to do. So I'm now scrambling these eggs up just to get them relatively cooked before mixing it all together. This is the consistency of the lemon sauce. You only had to cook it until it was simmering. It was simmering, and I wasn't the best fan of it, but that's okay. Like I said, we'll talk about that later. Mixing the egg in with the bacon and onion that's in the pan, and then I'm adding in the peas, I think. Yeah, there we go, the peas and the capsicum. I like to add the garlic last because garlic does tend to burn pretty easily, so I wanted to let these cook and soften for a little bit first. And now I'm adding in the garlic, the teaspoon of ginger, the salt, the pepper, and I didn't do any other seasonings. I know I did show other seasonings. I decided to keep it basic and don't overcomplicate things. I did add a tablespoon of soy sauce. We're adding in the rice, but I didn't use the turmeric or the paprika or I don't know, whatever else I showed before. I didn't add it for this one. I kept it just a nice, simple, basic because again, I wanted that lemon chicken and that lemon chicken sauce to really show through. And this is the fried rice finish.
Okay, so our fried rice is done. That looks and smells delicious. I'm sure it's going to taste delicious. I've made fried rice heaps of times. This lemon sauce, I don't know, all the pictures are yellow. This sauce isn't yellow. It's like clear gel. The consistency, so what I did is, the recipe said 1 tablespoon of corn flour. A lot of the people in the comments said that the sauce was way too thin for their liking and that they either next time will add more corn flour, or some people said that they added 2 tablespoons of corn flour after reading the comments and the consistency was much nicer. So I straight away added 2 tablespoons of corn flour and this consistency is like goop. So you can see it is drizzling, but it's just, I don't know. I tasted it as well. So one, the color I'm not a fan of. And I tasted it, like it's not bad, but it's not good. So I don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna add some lemon juice and maybe even some lemon rind. Can I be bothered doing that? Not really. I might squeeze in some more lemon juice. That might help thin it out a little bit and give it more flavor. The color isn't that appetizing, but unless using food coloring, I don't know how else you're going to get it to be yellow. I'm not too sure. But I'm gonna, yeah, let's juice in another half lemon and we'll see how it goes. All right, so I've added half a juice of lemon. The flavor is much better. It definitely just needs more lemon. And the consistency is a bit better too. I'm tempted to add a splash of water, but I also don't want it to get it too thin. But at least it's not that snotty, thick goop. So I think I'm just gonna leave it as is. But yeah, that half a juice of lemon definitely made such a big difference. I now got some vegetable oil heating up in this pan. I am a bit scared. On medium heat, we have our chicken, our flour mix, and our egg. So we'll dip the chicken in the egg, in the flour, and then straight into the pan. You don't want to pre-dip or pre-dredge the chicken because then the flour will get too soft and soggy on the chicken and it won't crisp up as nice. All right, I think my oil was heated. Normally I use a chopstick to dip in and test and if there's bubbles, but it's not bubbling, but it feels warm. And I dipped some flour, like just flicked a bit of flour in, and that looks like it's ready. So let's hope this is ready. I'm going to start with the thickest piece. So into our egg, and I'll just, with this size pan, I can only do 1 piece at a time, which is fine. So we got it coated in the egg. Now press it in the flour. Just gonna shake off any excess. Okay. That's definitely ready. And the oil is on a medium heat. You're supposed to deep fry this, but I'm not deep frying again. This is even like, oh, I get nervous now. Hey guys, I almost had another major accident. I had my tripod here and I took a picture. I went to put my phone back on and it kind of almost fell in this bloody oil that I'm already scared of. But it didn't, thankfully. But I did break my tripod, so. Yum. So that's been cooking for about 3 minutes now on that side, and we'll let it go for another 3 minutes, and then this piece will be cooked. So yeah, my tripod is officially even more broken than what it already was. And just because I'm already nervous with the oil, I don't want to do any risks. And I don't want to really feel like I just did around the oil because I'm just nervous. So I'm just going to show you guys, oh actually I'll show you guys what I do have. So we've got a plate next to it here. It came from the dishwasher. So I'll put the chicken on that plate just so I can bring it to this side of the bench and pop it on the cooling rack so it stays crispy, hopefully. And then I got our fried rice in the bowl. Yeah, we'll just come back when we're ready to slice and plate up.
It does suck, and it is a little bit hurtful to myself personally on how nervous I have become now with cooking. Um, After the incident of my burning myself, I boiled water, and just seeing the bubbles of the water made me really scared and nervous. I can boil water now, that doesn't scare me, but I am so glad that I did get back into cooking and I wasn't, well, I am afraid. I have been afraid, but I've been working on it and I'm not letting that stop me. And it just goes to show that working with oil or anything cooking, but especially oil, can be so dangerous and things can go wrong. And the night where I had the incident, it was very close of getting on my face, in my eye. I did put my hand up right over my eye as I leaned back, and obviously it got my hand. So I couldn't even imagine of what would have happened if I didn't have such a fast reflex of leaning back and putting my hand up. But it just goes to show to definitely not rush things. Do things to the right temperatures, the right degrees, like the pans and oils. Use the right utensils, not a tent peg, because you don't have utensils like I did. So it definitely has made me slow down and just slow down and be more aware. But I'm glad it hasn't stopped me, and I'm glad that I have kept going.
Alright, so I got Nick here for my cameraman. Oh, it's a bit soggy. So we didn't say Chris. The picture for the picture for this chicken was it looked like it was battered. But I went back on Pinterest and it was one of those where they use the same picture on multiple different blog sites. Yum, look at that. So yeah, they use the same picture on multiple blog sites. And it's different recipes, but the same picture's been used. So I think the picture was like a battered piece. He's going everywhere. So yeah, I think the picture was like a battered piece, but this is obviously not battered. I mean, I'm sure it's still going to be delicious. I'll leave the recipe down below, but I wouldn't do this recipe again. I think I would do a battered and do more research into finding out a nicer, more authentic recipe, I think. But like I said, this is still delicious food, I'm sure. So I'm just laying the chicken all on here. Do you want to come here, Bobby? Do you want to come here? Alright, so gravy boat for the sauce. I just had hot water in here to heat up the gravy boat, so then when we tip our sauce in, it's not going to cool it down because this is nice and warm. The sauce I had it to reheat, and I did decide to add in a few tablespoons of water, probably about 3 tablespoons of water, just to get a nicer consistency. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay. And now we're just gonna pour it on. Oh, actually, you know what would be good? Such a thick sauce. I'm gonna top it up with some sesame. I love sesame. There we go, so that is our dish done.
So all in all, it was a delicious dinner and an even better dessert. That lemon meringue pie was incredible. I'll leave the recipe for that one down below. I didn't film cutting it. I completely forgot. I took the pie to my parents' house and we enjoyed it together. So that's what it looks like inside. It's set up really, really nicely. My parents tried my last pie and this pie, and they agreed this second pie is definitely the pie winner of the pies. Not like it's a competition or anything, but it definitely was a much better recipe and a better pie, which I'm very thankful for. So thank you, Wendy, for sending me your recipe. The lemon chicken was delicious as well, and for some reason I didn't end this video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.